Over the past 75 years, more than 10,000 chemicals have entered our food supply, but the EU allows just 300 additives. At Thrive Market, we prioritize quality, banning over 1,000 ingredients found in conventional grocery stores. Our Healthy Swap scanner helps you find better versions of your pantry essentials without the junk, dyes, or fillers, and everything is delivered right to your doorstep. So shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health at thrivemarket.com/get-started for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
You're not broken. Never have been, never will be. Your heart got broken, and then you started guarding it and defending against more pain, avoiding more pain, which means you can't let the light in, you can't let the love in, and you can't let the light out, you can't let the love out, because my God, what if it happened again, right?
Good afternoon, good day, good evening. I don't know what time you're listening or where you're listening from. It's your boy, your host, NaRon Tillman, and you are with me for another episode of Walk in Victory. Speaking of victory, walk.
Warning. This is a public service announcement. The Walk in Victory podcast is where we have conversations purposed to evolve lives. You may not want to evolve. Then tune into another bleeping podcast. Everyone else, enjoy the show. And here's our host.
Good afternoon, good day, good evening. I don't know what time you're listening and or where you're listening from. It's your boy, your host, NaRon Tillman, and you are with me for another episode of Walk in Victory. Speaking of victory walks, we're going to have a very interesting conversation today. Do you know that most people who are going like to therapy or doing mindful work or breath work or things to really help them advance their lives, they tap into the fact that a lot of them, a lot of us, are dealing with some form of childhood trauma. That means that somebody that you're sitting next to on the bus, on the train, wherever you're listening at right now, in your car, you may be by yourself, has been affected by the family. And as we're parenting, we don't realize that we're inducing our feeling adequate later on in life or older, and then we realize we have financial blocks and and one of the things, even if you had what we would consider a great life, and I'm going to use TV characters as the base point. Even if you grew up like the Huxtables, right? So can you imagine Heathcliff Huxtable is this great dad, and he has all these solutions, and he's coming up and he's has the family, they're not in the projects, they got this mom, she's doctor, a lawyer, the dad is a doctor, all the kids are doing fine. Theo even wound up getting it together, and we see all of this stuff happens. And then one day, reports start to surface that Heathcliff Huxtable was a predator. So all of the kids are saying, wait a minute, where was the signs? Daddy always was home at night. When did he have time? Dad, but he was America's dad. And now you go to your therapist and you sit down and you're saying, how can I heal? How can I get past my dad being a predator? I knew him as the guy who took me to the soccer games. So is there a hole in my discernment that I couldn't see? And I was bringing my friends to the house and he was lurking around the corner looking. They're like, is there something that I missed? Did he do anything to people around me? And so you can imagine the questions that we have. Kids, we process, right? But we store it away and we tuck it away, and then we move on with life. I forgive you. How many times have you had an argument with a person or fight with a person? I grew up in the project, so we used to physically fight, right? And we shake hands, we're like, oh, I'm good, I'm good. Then you get on the phone and call your friend. When I see him, I'm gonna punch him in the face again. He ain't do nothing, right? Because you said I'm good. You said it's all is well, all is forgiven, and you hold it in your heart. Because it doesn't matter what I say, I don't know. And then some years later, that one fight is sitting in the therapist's office, and now you got trauma. Where does that trauma come from? Well, I remember when I was 12 years old, little Johnny punched me in the face in front of all my friends, and we started fighting, and I lost the fight. And it was like, now as it started to tell it, you tell your story, and in the story, it can be an abundance of truths. That's why comedians are so funny, right? Start to tell your story, and the body starts to relive the story, and now the story is manifesting itself and it's coming out, or we recluse and we hold it back in because we just want this story to be tucked away. And that's what we're going to be talking about today with Rebecca, how to overcome trauma and what's the baseline for healing. Rebecca, how are you?
Well, NaRon, what an intro to a conversation that my prayer is empowering. My goal is to turn the trauma conversation on its head. It is so often a disempowering conversation. And today, I want to teach you how to use any trauma to your advantage.
So let's go with the Heathcliff Huxtable. All right. So now, not only does it impact me because, that's my dad, but he's my dad in front of the world. In that instance, what would you say to me, as I come to you and I'm saying, this is what's going on, and I don't know how to let it go.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, when I'm talking about trauma, let's use the word trauma and define it as heartbreak. All right. So nobody is immune to trauma when we're looking at trauma through the lens of love trauma and heartbreak. What I'm talking about is let's heal your love trauma. Let's heal your broken heart. Many of you think you're broken, or in this Heathcliff Huxtable metaphor, maybe dad is broken, or my mom is broken, or my sibling is broken. We're not
Okay.
broken. Our hearts are broken, right? So the biggest issue here is your broken heart in relationship to now I can't unsee the truth of who my father is, or I can't unsee the truth that this real scenario happened. And I don't know how it could ever be anything other than less of a life for me because of this. I'm the coach who's been around helping people heal since 2002. And I am no stranger to having to do the deep work. I grew up in domestic violence, like many of you. And it doesn't matter if it was domestic violence or whatever it was that happened where your heart got betrayed, your heart got broken, and people weren't careful with your heart. Because those are the three things that happen that leave us in a trauma response that we keep re-experiencing until it heals, right? Our heart got broken. People weren't careful with our hearts. And the truth of the matter is, as adults, we don't have to keep experiencing love and relationship the way we grew up, but we won't have a better experience until we heal our broken heart. So forgiveness, you touched on forgiveness, NaRon. Here's my definition of forgiveness. I love as much as I did before I got hurt.
Hmm.
What we do is we think forgiveness is about the other person.
Yes.
And you're not giving someone a free pass when you forgive. You're letting your heart be open. And my definition of healing is freedom. So trauma is heartbreak. Healing is freedom. Forgiveness is loving as much as you did before you got hurt. And as someone who's freaking been through it and coached clients that are going through the unimaginable, and you're right, we want to put the issue on a shelf and just go on with our lives. But that's not how it works, because your heart will feel the heartbreak until the wound is healed. So, how do you forgive? How do you forgive? You go, all right, my right is to be my best and love as much as I did before I got hurt. And I ain't going to let anything or anyone have me have less of a life or have me be less of me, because they're a human with free will and agency. And what they do is not about me. This is one of the things that breaks our heart even more when we take it personally. I got out of a domestic violence marriage, and my coach said to me, "You think this is personal, Rebecca? You think you weren't skinny enough, you weren't having enough sex, you weren't this, you weren't that. Watch, because this guy is going to repeat what happened with you with every woman that comes after you until and unless he heals." And lo and behold, my ex-husband kept having more kids with other women that he wasn't going to take care of, cheating on them too. And I'm not knocking him. That isn't the point of this, right? He is where he is in consciousness. He's doing the best he can based on his level of awareness and the tools he has. I really believe that. But when I married him, I married my dad all over again, and I didn't know that. And his behavior was how he shows up in the world. It had nothing to do with me. So what is my work to go, okay, I'm ready for a next level love. What do I have to heal to break through and break free and call in a next level love? That's how it works. But it's less about the person that broke our heart, and it's more about the pattern we're in once we're adults, right? So say you're experiencing betrayal. Who was it that you experienced betrayal from first and learned you could be betrayed? What age do you need to go into and reparent yourself? Go, oh my God, baby girl. Oh my God, gorgeous little guy inside of me. Here's the reassurance you need. Let me give it to you. Let me give you the encouragement that you needed from someone else, that you're waiting for from somebody else. You give it to you and you're free. You need it from them, you're screwed, because they're just doing the best they can, and they're probably not going to apologize or validate you or encourage you or be the safe space that you're looking for. And it doesn't make them a bad person. It makes them a product of generational trauma cycles that they inherited. And the second somebody gets, it can be better than this, WTF, why are we not doing better? What you can know, if that's you, is you're the generational trauma healer in your family, because you see it could be better. And the ones that don't see it, they're not doing anything wrong, but don't think something's wrong with you, because you can see possibility where nobody else around you can. You're just the generational healer.
It's funny that you would say that, but you said a lot. But let's unpack. If Heathcliff doesn't get the help, he's going to come looking for it, making excuses, looking for a landing spot. So, I'll call the son, I'll call my daughter, hey, just let me explain why I did that. Like, I don't understand. Maybe I'm sick, or maybe I need to do something else, or maybe, and these excuses mask the true problem, where instead of saying, well, maybe we need to sit down with Rebecca. Maybe I need to heal my trauma-based past. Maybe I need to heal some stuff that I held on to so that I can move on. What does that look like on the half of the person? Because we're either, if you're listening to me, you're either in a position where you've hurt or impacted someone, or you have been hurt or had an impasse. There's no way around it. You're either hurting someone or have hurt someone. So it goes both ways, right? If I'm the one who's caused the impasse, then I have to work on me as to why I caused the impasse. And it has nothing to do, and we like to put it on the other person. Well, if you wouldn't have did this, then I wouldn't have did that. If you would have answered my call, then I felt abandoned. Like whatever the bridge is for our excuses, that's not the real situation. The real issue is deeper and is underlying. So from the place of I'm either hurting someone or I'm being hurt, how do you move? How do we row that boat?
Yeah.
Where the person who does the victim now becomes the victimizer.
Right. So here's the anatomy of an abuse cycle. The way it works is there's a victim, there's a persecutor, there's a rescuer, otherwise known as freeze, fight, flight, right? So the fourth option beyond fight, flight, freeze is called you healed, right? So you're 100% correct that we put it on other people that now I'm a victim, or now I have to fight, or now I have to shut down, run away, numb out, try to escape. The deal is this: the person that gets abused makes a decision that's unconscious pretty instantly. They're never going to be the person that does the hurt, therefore they stay a victim, or they're never going to be the one that's the victim again. Therefore, now they're going to be the persecutor. And it's not conscious, but that is how it works. So that perpetrator, that persecutor, they were abused and they decided they were never going to be a victim again. And that doesn't make it okay. Not even a little bit, but just to understand where it's coming from. So what do we need? We need one person brave enough to break the cycle, not willing to agree to stay a victim or to be the perpetrator, but instead to become the healed version of themselves. So the healed version of you is free. So fight, flight, freeze, or free. You have 4 options. They just only tell you there's 3. So what do you have to do to be free? You have to own, what do I want? What do I need? What do I feel? And you can have compassion. There are people that have done harm that give a big crap about making it right. There are people that did harm unintentionally and want to make it better. There are people that did harm intentionally and want to make it better. But if you think you're going to guilt them or shame them into caring about their impact on you so they make it better, good luck.
It's like when I was
Right?
when I was coming up, one of the most altruistic persons in our communities was drug dealers, right? But they would beat you up, they would bow, and then they have this other side where they were handing out turkeys and handing out toys and helping people pay their bills. That's humanity. We all have a side of us that we need to fix, and a side of us that can be the total opposite of that, right? That's caring and listening and nurturing, right? But it's what makes us human, and the freedom has to be selfish. I often tell people, and then I want you to chime in on this, when they're in relationships, if they meet someone, you're hanging out, and you go out with your girlfriends, and you meet a guy, but you're already hurt, right? And you meet this new guy, and you guys start commingling and exchange numbers. You really didn't want to do it, but now you're doing it. So now you're in the midst, and he's saying all the nice things, and he's doing all the nice things. But he met a hurt version of you. And you all may be in a relationship or build a friendship. It doesn't have to be intimacy. A relationship doesn't have to be intimate. But what happens is now you're healing, and they're starting to say, well, you're changing on me. And
Yeah.
you're starting to, you may say, I'm not changing. I'm just not broken anymore. And when you met me, I was broken, but this is who I am. How does that work? Why do you know?
Yeah. What you're really talking about, NaRon, is the graduation from trauma bonding to emotional intimacy. Because so many of us just thrive on trauma bonding. Can you believe this happened to me? I can't believe this happened to you, right? What we're doing when we're trauma bonding is reinforcing the lie that we're broken. Because again, you're not broken, never have been, never will be. Your heart got broken, and then you started guarding it and defending against more pain, avoiding more pain, which means you can't let the light in, you can't let the love in, and you can't let the light out, you can't let the love out, because my God, what if it happened again, right? Here's the deal. When you graduate yourself from trauma bonding, when you graduate yourself from an agreement to be the victim or the person that blames and threats and intimidates and lashes out because you're never going to be the victim again, now your relationships change. And you are not a victim. You are not the bad guy. You can't get in trouble And nothing is freaking wrong with you. You're hardly broken. It's just you don't know. People will show up for you better than how they've shown up for you in the past. Here's the secret magic sauce formula to next level emotionally intimate relationships. Open heart. Emotional intimacy is my heart's open, your heart's open. Let's be honest with each other. Let's grow together. Let's elevate together. Let's call each other higher. Those are the types of relationships I teach my clients every single day how to create and how to have. But guess what? It starts with you with you. It's all you with you, right? You're not going to receive more love than you're willing to give yourself. You're not going to receive people showing up for you better than you show up for you. So you knowing it's my job to have my own back, to be careful with my precious heart, which is not me guarding. It's me carefully keeping it open, me carefully committing to, I have an open heart. I'm the best of me no matter what. That's freedom. And that doesn't mean you take crap. That can mean I love myself enough to love you from a distance because I tried to make it work with you. You double down on the same old shit. Thank you, but no thank you. Bless you into your future. I'm going to love you from a distance. And if you want to be close to me, that requires you caring about being careful with my heart. I'm careful with my heart. My requirement is other people are careful with my heart too. If that doesn't interest you, it's not my loss. It's your loss. What if we were in that place?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. When we talk about that, right? And we find ourselves in that space, in that place. Where two people can be separated, right? For a season. And they both heal. But a lot of times when we're in relationships and we're fighting and we're guarding, both parties are both guarding their heart. They don't want to say the last time we fought, you said something very mean and it really hurt me. It struck a nerve. So every time we get into a sticky situation, I have to guard my heart. You have to guard. And then the communication breaks down. But that doesn't mean that I don't care about this person, right? So we break up and then you realize I really did care about that person. And it used to be easy to talk. And now it's so difficult to talk. And I don't really know why it's difficult to talk. When every time I was around them, all I wanted to do was talk. Over the course of time, if we don't do what, how does the relationship and the communication in the relationship break down where we're both looking at one another as the enemy?
Yeah, here's the deal. Other people can look at you and the enemy as the enemy, and you don't have to see them that way. I just see it as people are innocent. People are doing the best they can. Are they aligned with who I am now and where my life is going now? And you brought it up earlier. How do you handle when someone's, who are you? Where'd you go? I don't know this you. I don't like this. Because I always say, if you can survive survival, you can survive alignment. And breaking up with and breaking through trauma and our own commitment to our trauma response that reinforces our pain. One of three things happen when we break through survival and move towards alignment, meaning I'm honest with myself 100% of the time. I am willing to show up for me and have my own back like never before with an open heart. When you start showing up that way and you've been a people pleaser, you've been codependent, trying to be who you need other people to be, sacrificing yourself in the name of love, abandoning yourself in the name of love, betraying yourself in the name of love. And now there's a new sheriff in town. No thanks. I'm not interested in that anymore. People are going to be confused. So one of three things happens. They work with you easily, almost never happens. They get mad and get over it and work with you, almost always happens. Or they go away. If they go away, they were looking for a reason to.
Yeah.
And so let them go with love and an open heart. If they work with you easily, praise God. If they get mad and get over it, so what? They're human. It's like when you tell a kid the parents are getting divorced and the parents have been planning this for years, the kid needs a second to catch up. Give people a second to be reintroduced to you. Your job is to stay consistent and solid and not to try to be who you think they need you to be. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. You have your own approval and your own permission to be this you now. And the more consistent you are, the less confusing you are. And it's okay to give people a chance to work with you, grow with you. And if they don't, let them go. And it makes room for people who are in alignment, right? Because the more you're respecting you, loving you, there for you, the more you attract people who are respecting themselves, loving themselves, and there for themselves, which means they can be all that for you. If you're that, you attract that, and then you can receive that. That's the goal.
And what better way to receive that than with our latest sponsor? You know, Rebecca, I told the audience early in the year that before the year was over, we would have our first sponsor. The first sponsor is Cozy Earth. And if you hit the
Oh,
link,
cool.
in the description, you can get fine bed linen with a 40% discount using the code. 40% off using the code Victory1. You go in, you go order, you heal, because you're hearing Rebecca and I talk about healing and relationships. You don't want to invite somebody over to old bed sheets, so you go to Cozy Earth and you get you some fresh linen, and boom, knock it out the park. Where did you are? Let's talk about intimacy with oneself in the heal.
Yes. Intimacy with yourself is everything. And if you're listening to all this and thinking, okay, it sounds good in theory, NaRon and Rebecca, but what the heck? How do I start? What do I do? What are the how-tos? Everything I've taught over 1,000 people in my private practice, hundreds of thousands in my audiences over the years, and what I've done to save my own life and reinvent myself over and over again is in my book, Coming Back to Life, a roadmap to heal from pain to create the life you want. So if you're looking for the step by step by step, how to be intimate with yourself and others, how to feel safe letting yourself receive intimacy, how to officially break up with trauma and use any trauma that you have faced or are currently facing to your advantage, buy the book. It's on audio. It's everywhere books are sold, Coming Back to Life. But with that being said, NaRon, I think the question that we never answer honestly, who do you want to be? How do you want to feel when you grow up? I think the real answer to who do you want to be when you grow up is loved. And nobody answers it that way, right? That's really when we're talking about intimacy with you, where it starts. Admitting how much you want to be loved, how much love you have to give that you want people to receive. And I think we want to give our love as much as we want to receive love, but we don't admit it. So love never hurt you. Unhealed people did.
You know that when you said that, I got like goosebumps, because if I met someone, right, and it's like, oh, so what are you looking for in a relationship? And you just say, I'm looking for love. That sounds it sounds cheesy almost, right? But that's really what you're looking for. Instead of saying I'm looking for someone who's 6'5", muscular, like and that's what package I want the love to be in. This is what are you looking for? Because at the end of the day, that's really what we're looking for. But to be able to just openly say that, hey, everything I'm doing is because I'm looking for love. I'm looking to share my love. I'm looking to get someone who's equally sharing the same kind of vibe, the same kind of love with me. How liberating is that when we talk about the fourth thing? How healing is that, knowing that that's what you want?
Oh I think it's everything, right? And your kids deserve to have healed parents. My whole mission is teaching adults how to heal their broken hearts so their kids have healed parents, generational trauma cycles stop in their tracks, and we model something different. And I'll tell you, my greatest testimony that healing is possible is not that I survived incest and domestic violence growing up and domestic violence again, and I'm a cancer survivor. You can hear more about that in the book as well. My greatest testimony that healing is possible is the love story I'm living today with my second husband. And if I can let myself be loved as well as I am, and if I can let myself fiercely love, unapologetic, not afraid I'm going to be too much or not enough. If you think I'm too much or not enough, go ahead, stick your head in the sand and limit yourself from experiencing love at the highest levels. But I'm here to love at the highest levels. But guess what? I love me at the highest level so I can love other people at the highest level. And that allows me to receive love at the highest levels, right? And it really is true. All we want is to be loved. We don't admit it. And we have love associated with so much horseshit. Love isn't hurt. Love isn't trauma. Love isn't pain. Love isn't heartbreak. Love is free, and healthy love invites both people to be free.
My mother used to love me so much while she was whipping my ass. She was like, I'm only doing it because I love you. I'm like, this is not love.
That is not, and that's so confusing. And we joke, right? But it is not love, but we think it is. And we expect love's going to mean more of this inundation of the harm. I remember a time when my second husband and I were newly engaged, had moved into each other with each other, and I had a phone call from my ex-husband. And he's screaming at me. And I hang up the phone and I look at Mark, my husband now, and I go, I think he's still in love with me. And my husband goes, Rebecca, that is bat shit. That is not love. And I knew in that moment, I was in for a very vulnerable next level experience of love because this guy was standing for what I deserved. This guy was standing for that's not love. And I will tell you, the first night I spent with Mark, it was the scariest night of my life. It was terrifying, my husband now. And not because anything was wrong or bad, because I didn't know what to do with the safe guy. I didn't know what to do. You're not going to hit me. You're not going to call me names. You're not going to try to force me to have sex in ways I don't want to have. Like, I am so used to love being a trauma experience and a roller coaster ride. And now I'm safe and I'm with an equal. I couldn't sleep that night. I was crawling out of my skin. And then I woke up the next day and I thought, okay, Rebecca, you have turned the page. You've loved yourself enough to let yourself have this experience. Now your job is to let yourself hold it and to not let it slip through your fingers. And I just want everybody to hear, if I can have the love story I have, you can too. But you have to set yourself free and you have to love yourself in the moments that you feel the most unlovable, in the moments where you feel like nobody would want me if they understood this is who I really am. You got to give yourself more and more of your own love. Let divine love hold you and hug you so you can call in people that have done that work with themselves so that you can both give each other all the love you have to give and let yourself receive it knowing it's safe.
So as a mindfulness coach, I don't really get into all of this all the time, but when we're coaching, we're really coaching people to understand certain laws. And the law of attraction is one, right? So from what I'm hearing from you is once I heal, right, and I'm no longer in that fight or flight mentality, but I'm healed, I can now attract to myself people who will meet me where I am. I don't have to look behind me and go and try to pick up the pieces. Or maybe if I go back to Jack now that I'm healed, he's going to really like me. Jack is still probably going to punch you in the eye.
Or like the love bombing, right? That
Yeah.
used to feel like attention that was healthy can start to feel like it. I know what this is. That's a red flag. And there's two sorts of attraction, right? Attraction 101 is you have to attract the wounds you haven't healed yet. Once you heal the wounds, like attracts, right? Who you're being and what values you are resting in and living in, now you call that in. So I think that's what you're saying.
Mhm.
And there is so much more than attracting what we haven't healed yet, changing the scenery, attracting what we haven't healed yet again, changing the scenery, attracting what we haven't healed yet again. That's most people's whole life. But going, wait a minute, I don't have to be abandoned anymore. I can be the person that doesn't ever abandon me again. That's how you break through abandonment.
There was a philosophy. This guy is sitting on the porch, older gentleman, and this new couple moves in and they say, well, what is this neighborhood like? And he said, what was the neighborhood like that you were at? And they said, oh, the people there partied all the time and they were unruly and they did this and that, had a whole bunch of negative things to say. And he said, you'll find those people here. Same guy sitting on the corner, and new family comes in. Hey, what kind of neighborhood is this? He said, what kind of neighborhood did you come from? He said, oh, every Sunday the people went to church. We got together. We did stuff with the kids. And he said, you'll find those same people here. It doesn't, you can pick up and move. If you don't heal yourself, you're just taking the broken you to another location.
And you get to reinforce your belief that you're broken as long as you're committed to identifying as broken. And you're not. Your heart is. And it's not going to kill you. I don't think anybody else will tell you this, but I'm going to. When you break up with survival, it will feel like you're dying. You're not. You're shedding who you're not so you can be reborn. So let yourself cry. Let yourself air scream, punch a pillow. Let yourself breathe in the fear, breathe out the fear, so you can have joy and excitement as the rule you live by. So you healed as the healed adult that you designed and created, because you don't wake up one day and know who you are. You wake up one day and you decide to break up with survival, and then you have to design who the hell you are. That's what this book is about. That's what I've done. I married a guy with the last name Silence, and then I became Rebecca Silence.
Yeah, it's so funny, Rebecca. I thought that was like your stage name. It's like, oh, what a
No.
cool, crafty name, Rebecca Silence. I'm
I
like,
literally married a guy with that name. And I was so committed to silence. My husband now is Becca. I can't even imagine you, right? Because you can't shut me up. I'm like, excuse me? Let's talk about this. This isn't going to work for me. I'm not afraid to be too much. I'm not afraid I'm not enough. I'm not afraid of my voice or my light or my power. And that's what I teach my clients every single day. And I can't tell you how many marriages we've saved because I teach my clients how to bravely tell the truth. And that's the only thing that can give their relationship a shot. And you can do it in a solution forward way. But if you're pretending like they're the problem or they can't handle your truth, no, you have to try. You have to speak. You have to give them an opportunity to grow with you before you could ever know if that relationship is officially dead in the water. Relationships are here to help us heal and to become all of who we can become. It's easy to be your best when you're alone and single, but a relationship is going to show you your weak spots and where there are still wounds and where you're still human and where you get triggered and activated. And the whole goal is not to get beyond fight, flight, freeze forever. It's to catch it quicker and course correct quicker. You're not going to spiritually bypass your humanity. At least I haven't been able to figure out how to do that. But I can catch it quicker and get back to the me I really am. Catch it quicker, get back to the me I really am. Catch it quicker, get back to the me I really am. And hopefully today is giving you some freedom and some permission and some ways to recognize nothing's wrong when I'm noticing I'm not at all cool with what's going on in front of me. I just have to lead in this moment.
hmm. Well, I told you, everyone, we sit you at the feet of the masters, and we have conversations to help you build from the inside out, not tangible stuff that you can touch. This is stuff that this is inner work. Healing the heart is inner work. Healing the heart is inner work. Healing is inner work. And then, what you do in secret, the blessings happen openly. Besides your book, what books have influenced you, impacted you? Or if you was talking to someone and you said, read this book, what would it be?
Yeah, I love books. A few that I highly recommend. Number one, Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. Number two, The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's beautiful. Number three, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And then number four, A Course in Miracles. If you have never heard of A Course in Miracles, it is the most gorgeous spiritual text on the planet. It's 365 lessons and passages to read one day at a time for a year. to really develop and superproof your spirituality your way. So I love A Course in Miracles.
There you have it, everybody. Listen, all of Rebecca's information is in the description. If you go to our website, walkinvictory.me, she has a landing page there. And on the landing page, all of her information is there also. Go and get the book, follow her on social media, have that clarity call, do whatever you have to do. It's one thing to have a great business, and we want you to strive in business and be independent as entrepreneurs. It's one thing to have great finances, and we want you to have great finances and strive in that area. But if you're going home from a good business, going home from the bank still broken and not really having harmony in your relationships, it's going to eventually catch up to you. That's why we want to see that heart broken, unbroken, and healed.
Yeah. Amen.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Your subscriptions is a currency to us. We don't ask for Venmos, Cash Apps, or any of those things. But what we do is ask is that you leave a 5-star review if you're listening on a platform that allows you to leave reviews. And if you're not, you can go to our website, walkinvictory.me, and leave a review there. Don't walk with your head down. Don't walk in fear. Don't walk in fight. Don't walk in flight, but walk in victory. Walk in healing. Walk with your head up. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.